Yo, what up, y'all? I'm Sagie, back with Sagiecenter, all new season. You know, we got the NBA hits, we got the NFL hits, baseball just ended. Shout out to Atlanta Braves for winning the World Series. Shout out to y'all. Atlanta's such a great city. One of my top 5 cities I love to visit in the United States. We got a lot to talk about. Me. I love my basketball. My basketball's back. I got my league pass. I've been watching things that have been going on, a little bit in the preseason. What's starting in the beginning of the season. A lot of y'all know, I'm in fantasy basketball, so I got to watch these type of things because I have a vast interest in some of these players. Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, certain names I want to bring up today, and situations that have been going on in LA, Brooklyn, Philly, surprises in the NBA. So, a lot of things going on. I'm going to jump off with my very first person. And one thing about my fantasy team, my ESPN league, shout out to the People's League, my people out there. Everybody knows in my league, my name of my team is called Team Drama Queens. And I'm not trying to offend anybody about that. The reason why I call my team Team Drama Queens because myself, I drafted a lot of people who, have the NBA drama right now that you see on ESPN, FS1, the LeBron James, the Ben Simmons, the Kyrie Irvings. I see Alcom in there. He has a little spice in him sometimes. So I have a lot of players who are off the court, not because of injury, besides LeBron, but because of some drama. So, we'll start off with the Lakers. I think most people in the league thought, the Lakers were the preseason favorites in the West. Even me myself, on paper, yes, they were old. On paper, I was like, I don't want to deny what LeBron James got going on. Of course, the biggest question is Russell Westbrook. And Russell is a great player. I watched the Lakers play. It's just hard to play with that type of man that doesn't have great basketball IQ. And it's not dismissing that he's not a great player. I said he was a top 75 player of all time. I did not dismiss that. I'm happy he made the list. But Russ is going to be Russ. Russ' talent is his hustle. He's not the best of shooters, but he's one of the most athletic people. And I think that he's still building on the athleticism. Like, he has not learned how to play the game in certain areas. And I've seen it. They've lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder twice this season. Twice. Once they had a 26-point lead. Yes, a 26-point lead. And just this past, I believe, was it Wednesday? They just lost to them again, and they had a 16-point lead at halftime. And I'm seeing as the game is, getting those periods. And these are things where people that don't know basketball, that, you sit off stats. Unlike somebody like me that watches the game, these are things that you don't see in stats. Besides the turnovers, just the type of plays he has going on. I saw a play, it's less than a minute left. They're down by 1. He tries to Euro step. His team is barely coming back on offense, and you got the whole defense set up. So he's going 1-on-4, like he always does. Turnover. We get it back to them. Shea Gillis hits a 3. They get a bucket. Melo was getting it going, and Melo has been getting it going all year. Shout out to Carmelo Anthony. Shout out to him because he's honestly, he's won the Lakers at least 2 games this season. So I see Russ. It's like you're down by 3. You have about 10 seconds left on the clock. Just pull up. Pull up for a 3. Russell Westbrook is not a great 3-point shooter. I don't think he knows that. But he's not a great 3-point shooter. You have to utilize people, and that's the problem with Russ is I have the belief in LeBron, but I'm seeing things in LeBron now, and it's more of the injury side. These nagging injuries are starting to get to him. LeBron has played a lot of seasons. I believe this is his 19th season. If you take all his playoff games, which is like 380-something games or something like that, that's an additional 3 more seasons. So you're talking about a man that's played 22, 23 seasons in the NBA fully. If you add all that up, those injuries are going to catch up to somebody. So I think that's my fear now with the Lakers. And I don't know. Like, the West is open a little bit. There's different teams. Utah's there, but is Utah going to grab it? I really like Golden State again, y'all. Golden State look good. And the Lakers, they didn't lose to Golden State. So, the Lakers have some things to work on. And I don't think it makes it easy when LeBron misses games. And I know they're trying to preserve his body, but LeBron needs to play as many games as he can with this man, because I don't know how they stagger their minutes and stuff like that. He's not a great shooter. Another big thing is AD has really not been the AD of me. Like, AD has some games with 30, a few 30-point games there and there. Just watching him, it's just, I don't know. Anthony Davis doesn't do it for me anymore. I remember when everybody was so hyped on Anthony Davis prior to him coming to the Lakers. Like, Anthony Davis was supposed to be the next, greatest thing, like just talent-wise. Oh, people say he was better than KD. Yes, people said that, But AD don't do it for me anymore, man. It's like, I think he got that championship, he got relaxed. So, the Lakers have some things to issue out, and their defense is not that good, and that's the main reason they built their team off of that. So, I don't know. I know it's early. It's still like the first, getting into like the 10th game. Some teams are getting the 10th game today or stuff. So, just got to continue to watch. But the Lakers don't look that good to me. Not saying they won't make the playoffs. They're definitely going to make the playoffs, but they can be got. Phoenix already been able to beat them before, so they run into a team like the Phoenix Suns who don't have that mental. They already have that mental hurdle over the Lakers. I think they'll take them. The only team that usually falls when they play the Lakers is usually Utah and Denver. So you just gotta see what happens. But I'm concerned about the Lakers. And I think my biggest concern is because of the longevity of LeBron, and if these nagging injuries start to become even more nagging, I know he'll play it through, but we saw what happened last year. It's only a matter of time, you turn an ankle or something like that. At his age, these nagging injuries, instead of being like 1 week injuries, these are like months injuries, because he's old. And there's nothing we can be mad about. Like, the man has gave us greatness for a while, so we just got to see. So we're going to jump topics to the other side of the country, the East, with the Brooklyn Nets, actually the favorite to win the championship. So I'm gonna keep this strictly basketball. Again, people, I do not care. Let me rephrase this. It's not my opinion to really care if you've been vaccinated or not. I have to respect everybody's opinion. So again, this is not about the vaccine. Again, I don't make laws. I don't make rules. But I am in healthcare, so I do know about health. And this is facts, not, social media, all this bullshit you guys see. Excuse my language. So season starts. One thing the NBA, and this is not an issue the NBA has with Kyrie Irving. Again, it's between New York and Kyrie Irving. Not even the Brooklyn Nets and Kyrie Irving. We all knew when COVID happened, we were going to get a vaccine. We all knew, eventually things needed to get back to normal. And we all probably knew some of these mandates were going to happen as these numbers were getting super high in the summer. If you've seen the summer, it got really bad at one point again. So, fast forward now. The season started. The NBA Player Association, the NBA, they did not come to an agreement on, mandate for players in the NBA. Take note, the NBA players are the only people in the NBA whole umbrella who are not required to be vaccinated or have a mandate. If you're an NBA employee of an arena or anything else, or NBA, you must be vaccinated. And you are a ref, you must be vaccinated. If you are a coach, you must be vaccinated. But players, they gave them the ability to choose. That's one though. There's about close to 95% of the NBA players who have been vaccinated. Cool. You have people like Andrew Wiggins in the beginning of the year, too. They didn't want to be vaccinated. They weren't sure. Then, because of their local mandates, California, San Francisco, and Brooklyn, when they put vaccine mandates for people to enter in those arenas. And that means they're athletes. One thing I didn't agree on is opposing players can still come who are not vaccinated and play. I think that's a stupid rule. Like, if you're not vaccinated at all, like, either you do it or you don't. I agree with that. Like, you either do it or you don't. So, fast forward, gets that to Brooklyn. So, Kyrie is not vaccinated. Cool. They asked if you don't get vaccinated. It's a personal choice. That's perfectly fine. Now, Brooklyn was put in a tough situation. This man can only play away games. For a while, he couldn't even practice with the team because Brooklyn says you cannot do any sporting activity if you're not vaccinated. There's a loophole because the practice facility considered a private entity. Cool. He ended up being able to practice, but you still can't play home games. That's a problem. So, you're supposed to be like my superstar player. You can't play home games. We respect your opinion and not get vaccinated. You can't play home games, and you can barely only practice, and we only can see you on the road. How do you build that? What was the issue with Brooklyn last year? All three of their stars played 8 games together. Yes, they got hurt, but they played 8 games together. They didn't have no chemistry continuity. That's what this season was supposed to be for, so that they can go for the easy run. Now you can see, fast forward, Brooklyn told Kyrie, we cannot have a part-time player. Again, this is between you and New York. Kyrie says he has no issues with the vaccine. His issue are people are losing their jobs. This is where I'm going to tell you this, Kyrie Irving. It's a man. Again, I respect your opinion. And you're talking about people who are voiceless. I've had family members lose their lives to COVID. Those are people who are voiceless. I have patients who have lost their life to COVID. Those are people who are voiceless. The people you are talking about had a choice. Same choice I had. I'm not saying I agree with it or not, but I don't make rules. Neither do you. And this for people following him. You make those choices for what's best for you. If you choose to not get vaccinated and choosing to put your job in jeopardy, just understand that business cannot put their business in jeopardy. I have an MBA. A business has a jurisdiction duty to do what's best to make them a maximum profit for their organization. If there are COVID outbreak breaks out in any facility or any workplace, they must shut down for at least 10 days. Companies don't want to do that. You don't own those companies, guys. So understand that before you start to make a fight that, I'm not going to lie, you're not going to win. But again, it's your choice. But you're not voiceless. You're just choosing a choice. And choices have consequences. And understand Mr. Kyrie Irving is getting paid $17 million to still sit at home. Ask yourself, how much did you get paid to sit at home for not choosing to get vaccinated? Okay, but back to Brooklyn. So, without Kyrie, they still were slightly favorites, but I'm starting to get worried. Not because of Kevin Durant, but because of James Harden. Hey, David Otto, your boy. James Harden was out of shape last year, right? Coming in Brooklyn. That was part of the reason he had the hamstring. He still played well, MVP level, until he got hurt. James Harden said that he rehabbed all summer because of the sprain and the hamstring. They really hooped a lot. I understand that. When you're rehabbing, does that mean that your diet can't be good? I'm just saying. James, you are a point guard. You are a shooting guard. You are a person who are utilized a lot. Your conditioning is very important. Ain't gonna lie, bro. If it wasn't because Zion Williams came in 300 pounds, over 300 pounds, you probably look like the worst basketball player right now that looks overweight. Get in shape, bro. You can still party. Put down some of this liquor sometimes, bro, when you're in the season, man. Take your body seriously. James, you are an all-time great scorer. You have a chance to change that narrative about not winning a championship. Right now, you're not in the class of D Wade and Kobe and them. They have rings. You're in the class of the what ifs like Tracy McGrady, who never made it to the final. And I love Tracy McGrady. That was my favorite player. James, you got to get this thing going. The way Brooklyn looks right now, yes, Kevin Durant is holding them down scoring, but James Harden does not. If James Harden does not pick up that James Harden like we had in the last 5-6 years, Brooklyn is not going to the finals. I don't care how good KD is. Brooklyn not going to the finals, especially with now not having Kyrie. You don't know. Kyrie Irving may come back by January 1st. The new mayor of New York said he'll look at the mandate. He is very pro-vaccine, but he may adjust it for athletes. Do I agree with it or not? I don't care. If you can play, you can play, Kyrie. But understand, this is a team game. And one thing I want you to understand, Kyrie, you could be an advocate, but you have to also understand your team. If you really want to be Colin Kaepernick, take what Colin did. Colin never made it about himself. Never. He always made it about the people he was serving and made sure he understood. Another thing is Colin always wanted to play. They took the game from him. The game is still in your hands, my brother. You could do so many different great things if you really talk the right way. When you say the voiceless, again, it don't mean me saying I don't feel bad for those people that lost their job. But I feel bad for those people who don't have no family members because of COVID. And that's who I look at more than people who have choices to make the right decisions, but choose to do what they want to do for themselves. And that's what you're saying. One thing COVID, you always do what's best for you and your family. But what did COVID taught us what's best for you and your family is to get the vaccine, to help people around you, because it ain't about you. That's all I got to say about Brooklyn, Brooklyn, you're in some trouble. I think the man comes back, you still try to trade that man before trade deadline, because I don't think you're going to re-sign him at the end of the year. You don't even want to give him a contract extension. So on to my next drama queen, Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm going to keep this simple. Some people that are saying 76ers are stupid for not trading him, blah, blah, blah. No. Let me tell you this right now. The 76ers are a championship team. Ben Simmons did not do what he was supposed to do in improving his game. One thing people do not understand, Ben and Joel, before they were given their contracts, go back to Joel's last contract before this extension. That had so many different causes because of his injury. And what did Joel do? Get his body better. Yes, Joel still gets injured, but he got his body better. He played the most games he's probably played in a while and at the top level. But Ben Simmons, they've been telling Ben Simmons this since he's been a rookie. Go look at his rookie report card. Ben doesn't like to listen. Ben think he knows best. Ben never worked on his game. That's not the first playoffs that Ben Simmons, you have to play him in a certain way. It just showed really bad because he got in his head. So fast forward, the season started. Yes, we know Ben Simmons needs to be traded. But how do you trade somebody after that last performance that was supposed to be an all-star, all-NBA player? You don't look like an all-star, all-NBA player. So why do you think the team is going to get pieces back and grant you your thing when you still got 4 years on your deal, my brother? So they ain't got obligated to do nothing. What you need to do is be a professional, my brother. Get out there, hoop. Hoop. You still let it know, I don't want to be here. But you be a professional, you hoop. Just like everybody has done that before. You still have a job. Again, I think it's something about this new generation that everything's been handed to them. And I'm always about professionalism. At the end of the day, you may not like where you at, but you never know what can happen in the future. Ben, you got to do better, bro. Go out there, hoop. Be who you are. Trust me, you get traded because there's a man in Portland that doesn't look too good right now. I think you just need about 5 games to show you Ben Simmons, and they'll ship you to Portland for him. And I don't like that. Or you may get sent to Brooklyn. But in order for you the way you're going, my brother, they gonna ship you to Orlando. You get shipped somewhere like Orlando, Oklahoma City to die, your career to die even further. You don't think if Oklahoma City offers Shea Gilgeous for Ben Simmons that Philly won't take it? You'll die in Oklahoma City, my brother. So, my advice to you, come back, you play. Philly, I think, at first what they did wrong, I think you did throw the man under the bus, but at the end of the day, you're being honest because, it's frustrating. Philly should have been in the championship, in the finals by now. Joel Embiid and them been playing for, I knew if they didn't get to the finals this year, they had to break it up. So, it was nothing new that wasn't coming. Y'all played together for like 5-6 years now. Y'all still can't get there. Even after LeBron's been out of the East for the last, 4 years? So, not like you couldn't beat Milwaukee one year, couldn't beat the Raptors the other year, couldn't beat the Celtics another year, couldn't beat the Heat another year. Come on. So, but I agree. You don't trade it for you got a diamond. You don't trade it for a couple of studs. I don't do that. So, Ben Simmons come and play. I actually need you to play. I'm happy they're finding you every game. So your money's gonna be affected. So please come and play because my team is stacked when you come back too. So then all we have is that one person, Kyrie Irving. So to jump subjects now to like the surprises of the NBA. There's a lot of surprises going on in the NBA right now. Shout out to Chicago Bulls. I'm a Bulls fan again. Let me tell y'all this. I never had no issues with the team. It was the management. When they fired Paxson and them, my boy Ray was like, give this man, give this man a chance, his new GM a chance. I watched them, I knew that he had some stuff to fix up. I had to become a Zach LaVine believer. I believe in Zach LaVine. I believe he's the best scorer the Bulls have had since Michael Jordan. Again, I will say it again. I think he's the best scorer the Bulls have had since Michael Jordan. Not player, scorer. They have a great. I love the Lonzo pickup. I think the trade last year for Vucevic kind of set up how the Bulls were looking, where they were going to go. Even though they didn't make the playoffs, remember late in the year, Zach LaVine caught COVID, things like that. It took them time, but the Bulls look good. DeMar DeRozan with 2 back-to-back 37-point games. The Bulls look good. I'm excited. I'm going to be at the Bulls Heat game on the 27th with my wife and my homie Sean and his fiance Chantel. We'll be at the Lakers game with my brother Kyle. I plan on hopefully seeing the Bulls with the Brooklyn Nets in January. Catching more ticket games. I'm really surprised. The Bulls are doing well. You got some teams in the East that are really surprising. My brother told me about the Washington Wizards, and I was like, they're gonna suck so Bradley Beal get traded. But Washington looks good. Kyle Kuzma looks more comfortable. Montrez of like the Clippers. They look good. They look good. I can say that. I don't know if they're gonna keep it up because you have teams like Milwaukee struggling right now. Milwaukee's 4-5, but Middleton is in COVID protocol. Drew Holiday just came back for the first time since the first game. Milwaukee I'm not worried about. But I'm gonna say this again. Kyrie Irving does not come back for Brooklyn. Milwaukee's going back to the finals. Milwaukee or Miami. Let me tell y'all about the Heat. I was not big on the Kyrie signing. Woo! The boys with Tyler Halo look good. He's my pick for 6th man of the year. Yes, sir. You got Charlotte looks good. The East got better, man. Honestly, the East look better than the West right now, to be honest. If you talk about from a talent standpoint, like how they're playing, the West has a lot of iffy teams. Like the only teams that are not iffy in the West are really Utah because they stay packed if they're healthy. Denver, they still have no Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr. hasn't played well. These are my disappointments. I'll say a lot of the West teams have been more of my disappointments. Michael Porter Jr. has not played up to his potential, and they paid him like he's got to be like almost a $200 million player. I didn't agree with it. But, he has to pick up his game. You don't know when Jamal Murray's coming back. The Lakers, they're getting it together. So I know it's going to be a long process for them. But they're a disappointment. I thought the Clippers would be a little bit better than what they were right now. I thought Paul George would have a top 5 MVP season. But they're getting it going again. The Phoenix had started off a little sluggish. And then you know, those are the teams like you're seeing, like, but there's a lot of question marks on each team. Phoenix is going through organization thing, and then you have the Aiden contract dispute. Clippers, they have no Kawhi. So only really 4 short teams right now that are stacked in the West that are, you know, who I know are not just the surprises, who I know could be there at the end are Utah and then Golden State. They will get Klay Thompson back. And let me tell y'all this right now. We don't even need to see the Klay Thompson of the when he played 2 years ago. Let me tell you, you don't. Jordan Poole has arrived. Gary Payton has arrived. The third has arrived. You still have no James Wiseman, and he's gonna fit in. Draymond Green looks more comfortable. I've been seeing him shooting the ball a little bit more. Steph just looks unstoppable right now. That's my MVP pick. They look like the Warriors when they first came out, like just the ball movement, and I think that's what we've been missing. And their defense is good. Remember, when the Warriors were good, they had great ball movement and they were a top defense. So, you know, the West has some question marks, but the East right now, I think the East, you know, they're right now they got the surprises and they're tough. The East, and I didn't even talk about the Knicks, Stephen A's Knicks. And speaking of Stephen A Smith, this is actually my last take. I'm gonna keep this very short. I'm a big fan of yours, Stephen A. But I agree with you on the Jay Wilts thing the other day with the Aaron Rodgers. I think it was kind of too soon. You didn't really get the grasp of talking about it. And I think when you were debating with Jay Will about the Kyrie thing, that was more of like a heated one because of the past things with Kyrie. It wasn't about the vaccine. It was more of like Kyrie just don't want to play. I understand. But you do need to watch your words when it comes to black brothers, especially one Lamar Jackson. Let me tell you this right now, Stephen. Yes, we know Patrick Mahomes is a black quarterback, but Lamar is our quarterback. You keep moving this goalpost for Lamar Jackson, and it's not fair, my brother. It's not fair to him. The man is the offense. He has tried each year to get better as a thrower, and he has. It's been proven. What you do by saying, like, you judge by the throwing in the football, like, consistently, what you're doing, you did the same thing for Cam Newton. And Cam Newton, right now, it looks like Cam Newton is getting panned out the NFL. What you do is giving all these people who doubted this man already coming before more room to talk. Watch your words, my brother. This is a former MVP. This is a former MVP, and it's a man that's doing his thing. He has no receivers. The man is doing his thing. So watch your words when you're talking about black brothers. Try to uplift them more. So that's why my last take. You know, this Sagiecenter. Thank y'all for joining me again. You know, comment on topics you want me to talk about. I will have some special guests. You know, Charles, I know I gotta get you on. My homie Charles from back when I was growing up. I gotta get you on. We're gonna have more guests. So thank you. Subscribe, Sagiecenter. Subscribe to my Instagram, Sagiecenter 2.0. My name is Sagie, and I'm out.